Ouch. Heat flooded Carly Chambers' body as she rolled over in bed. Her hand brushed something solid, muscle, warm and unyielding. Her eyes flew open. In the dark, a pair of eyes stared back, cold, piercing. Who? Her throat tightened. The man lowered his head and crashed his mouth onto hers. Their lips met, sharp, hungry. The air thickened with heat and something she couldn't name. Carly's heart pounded. She trembled, pushing weakly at his shoulders. The drugs dulled her strength. Her hands only scraped at his skin. That slight resistance seemed to ignite him. He leaned in, trailing kisses down her body, slow and deliberate, as if claiming every inch. After a night of intense passion and blurred breaths, Carly opened her eyes again, dazed. A man she didn't know lay beside her. He was still asleep, face turned away. As she stared, she noticed 2 intersecting knife scars across his back, grim and terrifying. She froze. Fear flashed cold through the haze. Her last clear memory was yesterday, her 18th birthday. Her half-brother had insisted on celebrating, bring a pot of precious tea just for her. She'd taken a single sip, and everything went dark. When she woke, she was in a hotel room, completely naked, a stranger at her side. Clothes, hers and his, even her underwear, were strewn across the floor. She didn't need anyone to spell it out. Did she just lose her virginity? Before she could even feel the grief rising, the man stirred and sat up. He dressed quickly, his face unreadable. "I'll have someone come to pick you up. Just wait here and behave." Wait. Was he going to get rid of her by murdering her? Terror shook her. The moment he left, she gritted her teeth and dressed through the sharp ache in her lower body. Disheveled, shaking, she ran straight home. A month later, Mr. Chambers flung a stack of papers into her face. "How could someone like you call yourself a Chambers? You slept with some random man and ended up carrying his child. You're shameless." Carly stared, stunned. The pages scattered across the floor. Her pregnancy report. How could this be? They'd only done it once. She was, after all, nothing more than the illegitimate daughter, the family shame. Years ago, Mr. Chambers had gotten drunk and slept with the new nanny. That mistake became Carly. The Chambers family never cared for her. At 5, they had her scrubbing floors, an unpaid maid in her own home. Jaron Chambers, her eldest brother, had set the trap that led to her pregnancy. Now he stood by, playing the victim and calling her promiscuous. Carly bit her lip, pain tightening her chest. She didn't argue. No one here would believe her, even if she told the truth. Mrs. Chambers sneered. "She's exactly like her mother." Back then, that woman slunk around seducing men and ended up pregnant with her. Now this brat is just another bastard. She grew up without a proper mother. What else would you expect? It's in her blood. Look at Christy, poised, modest, 100 times better than her. Mr. Chambers snarled, "Go to the hospital right now and get rid of it. Then leave the country and never come back." Carly, usually quiet and compliant, lifted her chin. "No, I want this child." She had never been treated like family by anyone in this room. But the tiny life inside her, that was hers. her own flesh and blood. Mr. Chambers' voice turned to ice. Don't think I'm negotiating. You have two choices. Do as I say, terminate the pregnancy and go study abroad. Or keep it and you cut ties with the Chambers family. You leave now. You'll have nothing to do with us again. He didn't care how it tore her apart. He cared only for his reputation. Okay, I'll leave. Jaw tight, she packed what little was hers and walked out of the house that had never given her warmth. 6 years later, Gludal City's largest hospital, Peace Point Hospital. The operating room doors swung open. Carly strode out, radiating confidence. 6 years of grit and work had carved her into a renowned neurosurgeon. Every movement precise. The timid girl she'd been, gone. It was her first surgery since returning home, yet her skill held the room in quiet awe. Assistants traded glances, even the attending physicians looked stunned. Now they understood why the dean had insisted on hiring her. After changing, Carly hurried to her office. She had lived alone overseas for more than 6 years. In that time, she'd given birth to a pair of adorable twins, her reason to breathe, her strength when the world pressed in. No matter how hard life became, she would raise them. She would see them grown. But when she reached her office, the room was empty. Her heart lurched. Oh God, the hospital was crowded. Too many faces, too many halls. Could her children have been abducted? With a growing sense of terror, she bolted out of the office. As she neared the elevator, a blood-stained hospital bed rolled into view, the wheels squeaking against the tiles. A group of towering men pushed the bed toward her. The man on it had his upper body exposed, two glaring, intersecting scars slashed across his back. Her pupils contracted in fear. A jolt ripped through her, as if she'd been struck by electricity. She froze, shock stealing her breath. Wasn't he the one? Memories surged, dragging her back to that night, the night everything began. Those two peculiar scars had been branded into her mind, haunting her ever since. She'd believed that relentless excellence would drive him out of her life forever. Yet here he was, the very day she returned to the country. Her nerves frayed to snapping. Breathing turned into a struggle. She braced a palm against the wall, fighting to steady herself. Deep breath. Hold it, let it go. She spotted a doctor trailing behind and hurried to meet him. Excuse me, could you tell me what happened to the person who was just wheeled in? The doctor eyed her, taking in her hospital uniform, courteous yet wary. Which one are you referring to? Patients came and went here in an endless stream. Many arrived bleeding. Carly's hands betrayed her unease. The patient who just passed me. He was drenched in blood, two linear scars across his back. Fierce looking. The doctor nodded, as if it were nothing unusual. Oh, that's one of those street thugs. There was a brawl earlier. Once they stop bleeding, they'll be shipped off to the police. Thank you. I won't disturb you any longer, Carly said, a pang stabbing through her chest. She stepped back. A street thug. No wonder he was capable of such monstrous acts. She gritted her teeth. How could her two smart, adorable kids have a father on his way to jail over a brawl? He was their father, yes, but he showed no ambition. Carly swore she would never let him touch her two precious children. She made up her mind. She could not meet this man. She could not let him learn her children existed. If she ever stood before him, he'd use his despicable means to take them, and her children were everything. She would never compromise. In the VIP ward, 2 rows impeccably dressed bodyguards stood at attention on either side of the bed. Even gravely wounded, the man on the mattress radiated a cold, intimidating power that seemed to fill the room. His gaze swept over them, icy, menacing. The towering bodyguards quivered. "Please, spare me, Mr. Hardwick," the man on his knees pleaded. "I truly had no idea who took the files. Someone from Mr. Cooper sent people over. I was just being used." A cold sneer curved the patient's lips. "You're at death's door, and you still talk tough?" His voice held no warmth, only a bone-deep chill that made the air feel thinner. With a flick of his fingers, the bodyguard seized the man and dragged him out. "Mr. Hardwick, I've been by your side for years. Please spare me. I don't know anything." "If he won't spit out the truth, then beat it out of him," Lance Hardwick said, expressionless. Lance was the head of the renowned Hardwick family, one of the country's most powerful clans. Their business empires spanned the globe. Their wealth was a byword both at home and abroad. To the outside world, he was Mr. Hardwick, ruthless, vengeful, relentless. Those who had crossed him seldom fared well. Peace Point Hospital, the most popular private hospital in the country, was just one piece of the Hardwick empire, staffed with world-class physicians and branches worldwide. The ward felt suffocating. No one dared to breathe too loudly. Suddenly, the door burst open. A little girl in a pink princess dress scampered in. Bright, watery eyes blinked at the wall of men in black. Her mouth fell open in awe. Her sweet voice trembled. "Have you seen my mommy?" Sherry Chambers hadn't seen Carly for over 2 hours. While her brother stepped off to get a glass of water, she'd seized her chance and slipped away. Lance shot a sharp glance toward the door. Everyone braced for the storm. But when Boss Hardwick and the little girl locked eyes, the steel in his gaze softened. Something struck his heart, quick and unexpected. Despite himself, he felt a pang at the distress on her tiny face. A quick-witted bodyguard stepped forward. "Mr. Hardwick, I'm sorry. I'll take the child out right away." As the bodyguard reached for her, Lance lifted a hand. "Hold on. Don't scare the child." The bodyguards went still as if they'd misheard. In their minds, Mr. Hardwick was a ruthless demon. When had he ever sounded gentle? The little girl was very pretty, like a painted doll come to life, and strangely, there was a hint of Mr. Hardwick in her features. Lance crooked a finger. "Come here." Oddly, once she met his gaze, Sherry wasn't as frightened. She took small, careful steps toward the bed. As she drew close, she spotted the blood seeping through the bandage on his chest. "Sir, you're injured. My mother is a doctor. As soon as I find her, I'll ask her to treat you." "Is your mother a doctor in this hospital?" "Yes. My mother is really skilled. She not only performs surgery, but also knows non-medical therapies. When my brother and I were sick, she treated us herself." Sherry's chin lifted, pride sparkling. "My mother is amazing." Normally, Lance had no patience for chatter close to his ear. The bodyguard's shoulders tensed. If Boss Hardwick lost his temper, the girl would be out the door in an instant. But he watched her with quiet interest. Following her lead, he asked, "What's your mother's name?" "I'll send someone to fetch her." With his reach, finding someone in a hospital would be easy. Before the girl could answer, a boy's cold voice cut through the doorway. "Sherry Chambers, come out! Now!" Sherry flinched, then waved to Lance. "Goodbye, sir. My brother is here for me. When I find my mom, I'll make sure she treats you." Lance let out a soft chuckle at her earnestness. He found himself drawn to her bright, innocent energy. "All right. It's a deal." As soon as Sherry slipped out, her brother's reprimand landed. "I turned away for 1 second and you were gone. That's not how you should behave." Sherry pouted and clung to Shane Chambers' arm. Her voice turned sugary. "Don't be mad. I know I messed up, but I promise I won't do it again." Shane sighed, a mix of frustration and fondness in his eyes. "All right, but this can't happen again. Consider this a warning." He took her hand and led her back toward the office. They had barely made it down the corridor when they ran into their mother, Carly Chambers, who looked stricken. "Where did you go?" "I was so worried I was about to call the police." Her eyes were red from crying. "Don't cry, Mommy," Sherry whispered, reaching up to wipe Carly's tears. "I hadn't seen you in a long time, so I went to look for you. And on the way, I met a really cool, handsome man. He was bleeding a lot, so can you please help him?" "Every patient who comes to the hospital has a doctor in charge, so you don't need to worry about him." Carly finally exhaled when she saw her 2 children were okay. Shane ducked his head, guilt clouding his eyes. "Mom, it was my fault. I didn't take good care of Sherry. I shouldn't have made you worry." He was only 5. Carly didn't have the heart to truly blame them. She gathered both of them into her arms, kissed each cheek, and murmured, "It's because I'm too busy with work and don't have enough time for you. Come on, we'll go back to our new home together." No matter how many tasks waited for her first priority would always be her children. The trio arrived at their new place. When Peace Point Hospital recruited her, the salary had been a real lure. Living abroad, she'd faced her share of disputes and cold shoulders. Over time, it all piled up and pushed her to come home. Before she returned, she'd already secured a bright, spacious 2-bedroom through an agent. Since she'd mentioned bringing her 2 little ones, the landlord had even prepared a cozy bunk bed, putting big smiles on their faces. "Go on and unpack," Carly said. "I'll start dinner. It won't be long." Sherry pouted. "Mom, hurry up. I'm starving." "Have a snack until dinner's ready," Shane scolded, brow furrowing. "Cooking takes time. It won't just appear out of thin air." That solemn little face made Carly tense. He'd always been a bit unapproachable, and other kids were often scared to play with him. Where did he pick up that tone? Oh, what if he can't find a wife in the future? "Shane, I've told you, boys should be gentle and considerate. Smile more. That's how the other kids will like you." He was busy folding clothes. He didn't look up. "Go make dinner. Don't just stand there foolishly." Who on earth did he take after at such a young age? So domineering, always talking like a little adult. Carly sighed inwardly and headed for the kitchen to get dinner started. Balancing a demanding job was hard enough. Now she had to find a good kindergarten where they could learn and make friends. If work got too busy, she'd need a babysitter too. Fees like that would drain her savings fast. She needed new ways to earn money on top of working hard. Early the next morning, she took a deep breath and brought the two to the nearest prestigious kindergarten. The location was prime, which meant the tuition was higher than most. After much thought, she paid 6 months' tuition for both children. The teachers placed the siblings in the same class, which soothed her nerves a little. At drop-off, Carly crouched to Shane's level. "Look out for Sherry. I'll pick you up later." He put on a confident expression that made her laugh despite herself. Carly hurried to the hospital and froze. Several police cars lined the curb. After asking around, she learned they were searching for suspects in a recent brawl. Her stomach flipped. Wasn't that man involved too? That scoundrel had done unforgivable things to her, but she still didn't want the father of her children to land in jail. She rushed to the inpatient ward, assuming he'd still be under observation after losing so much blood yesterday. She searched high and low. Nothing. Except for the VIP ward, off limits, he was nowhere to be found. Maybe he'd already left the hospital. She was about to breathe when 2 policemen strode down the corridor, scanning faces. "Isn't there another seriously injured person? He's the one who started it," one officer said. "Maybe he heard we were coming and ran early," the other replied. "Keep looking," the first ordered. Carly's thoughts spiraled him, bleeding, swinging in a street fight. Her heart kicked hard. Her breath hitched, tighter, like a hand was closing around her throat. Sirens wailed outside and snapped her back. If she didn't act now, it would be too late. For her children's sake, she had to save him. As if on cue, a figure appeared at the stairwell, seconds from being spotted. Lance. Carly yanked off her white coat, sprinted, and dropped it over his head. In all of Gloodle City, maybe only Carly would dare to pull something like that on Lance from behind. He tensed, ready to strike, but she hissed under her breath, "Don't move. I'm saving you. Make a sound now, and you'll go to jail." "You're a thug, aren't you? The police are here for you. They say you started that brawl. If they lock you up, you'll be inside for years. When they clear out, you run, fast, and don't look back. Got it?" The familiar, tender voice yanked him back 6 years, and his heart skipped a beat. Back then, before Lance had fully inherited the Hardwick family, his enemies drugged him to ruin his reputation. They even hired women to lure him, hoping to capture scandalous photos. That was how he ended up having a one-night stand with Carly. "It's you." "Yeah, me." Carly's tone was grumpy. "Don't overthink it. I'm not here to see you. I was a victim 6 years ago, too. I'm only helping you this once because of our chi. I mean, because we know each other." She almost let the word children slip and caught herself just in time. Even though she couldn't see his face, she could feel the dangerous aura rolling off him. The last thing she needed was to get tangled up with some guy who might be a gangster and drag her into trouble. "What do you mean by saving me?" God, he had so many questions. Carly kept her voice steady. "The police already caught your people. So cover your face with your clothes and run out the back door. There's still time." She actually thought he was one of the thugs. Then what had she thought of him 6 years ago? Every socialite dreamed of being with him, yet the Carly in front of him seemed repulsed by him in every possible way. Her disdain was unmistakable. "They won't catch me." "Do you think you're that powerful? Hurry up and follow me. Stop dawdling and cover your head." Carly was only helping him because of the children. Otherwise, his fate had nothing to do with her. And he didn't even seem to appreciate it. That made her livid. When the Hardwick bodyguards rushed in, Lance, only his eyes visible, gestured for them to stand down. The guards exchanged puzzled looks. What was going on with their boss lately? His methods were getting strange. After a struggle that felt far too long, Carly finally got Lance to the back door. She pointed toward the dim road. Once you leave through here, you'll be mostly safe. Remember to behave in the future. Stop getting into illegal stuff. You won't find someone like me to help you again. Lance pressed his lips together, eyes cool. He was curious to see what she'd do next. Carly was about to leave when the gleam on his wrist caught her eye, a shiny, blinged-out Rolex. She'd seen a similar one back in the Chambers family. Mr. Chambers loved his and kept it locked away, only wearing it for big events. One look told her Lance's watch was worth even more, a few million at least, far too rich for a street thug. She stepped in and seized his hand. "Where did you get this watch?" "Do you want it?" Lance sneered. "So, just another materialistic woman?" Carly didn't hesitate. She slipped the exorbitant Rolex from his wrist and hissed, "That's evidence of your crime. How could you wear it? Don't steal again. Do you hear me? I'm taking this to the police station. If I catch you breaking the law again, I'll personally call the police and have you thrown in jail." Lance almost laughed. What a lame excuse. She lied so naturally, claiming it was for his own good when all she wanted was the watch. If she wanted it that badly, he might as well give it to her, compensation for what happened 6 years ago. They wouldn't cross paths again anyway. What a pity. He'd once had certain expectations of her. Carly left with the diamond watch. Aaron Hawthorne, Lance's assistant, leaned in and whispered, "Mr. Hardwick, we should head back. Do you want us to teach that woman a lesson?" Lance's gaze lingered on Carly's retreating figure. A shadow of disappointment flickered across his face. He shook his head. "No, that's not necessary." When Carly returned to the hospital, she changed back into her white coat. Today was her onboarding day, and the department head had set up a small welcome party. Ugh, why did she even bother saving that thug? Hurrying to the office, she found her boss and a few coworkers waiting. Out of breath, she said, "Mr. Jeffers, I'm so sorry. I got stuck in traffic. I hope you didn't wait too long." Eldon Jeffers, who valued her talent, smiled. "No problem at all. Everyone here is easy to get along with. We're a team now. Come on, everyone. Let's welcome our new colleague, Dr. Carly Chambers." Mr. Jeffers introduced her to each person. After Carly gave a brief self-introduction, the room filled with warm applause, and the welcome party wrapped up. "Thank you, everyone," Carly said politely. "I just want to say how grateful I am for this warm welcome and the wonderful party. I'm excited to be part of this team. Let's save lives. Cheers." The department took to her quickly, especially since she was the youngest doctor among them. Under Mr. Jeffers' guidance, Carly familiarized herself with the hospital, reviewed domestic success cases, and studied treatment options not available overseas. She learned fast. She'd been researching medicines for years. Confidence came naturally. At noon, Carly hopped into a taxi and went to the police station to turn in the priceless Rolex. She didn't mention the thug. She claimed she'd found it on the road. It was her way of clearing his name. An hour later, the police chief arrived at the Hardwick residence with the missing watch in hand. Mr. Hardwick, this is the watch you lost. I'm returning it to you, the chief said. A flicker of surprise touched Lance's face as he looked at the watch. Aaron took it and examined the details. Mr. Hardwick, this is indeed yours, he said with a nod. Lance frowned slightly. Did that foolish woman really think he'd stolen it and turned it in to the police? Was she out of her mind? Who turned in the watch? Lance asked, his tone suddenly intent. Her name is Carly Chambers, the chief replied quickly. She's been living abroad for the past few years and recently returned. No criminal record. Lance nodded and handed the watch to Aaron. Take care of it. He inclined his head to the chief. Thank you. The chief practically glowed at the rare word of thanks. It was an honor, and he left at once. Silence settled over the living room. Guards and maids stood lined up at the side, not a whisper among them. Mr. Hardwick liked peace and quiet. Even conversation in the house kept to a regulated volume. But now, with the priceless watch warm in his palm, a smile tugged at his lips. In 10 minutes, I want everything you can find on this woman. This woman had captured his attention. Especially after that unforgettable night 6 years ago, one that had haunted his thoughts for a long time. By the end of the day, Carly still felt energetic. Tomorrow, she'd finally start seeing patients, with Dr. Jeffers by her side to prevent any mishaps. Leaving the hospital, she hurried to the kindergarten to pick up her 2 children, arriving just as the last kids were being collected. Standing outside the gates, Carly waited, heart light, ready to see her precious little ones. The 2 of them emerged from the kindergarten, and Carly swept them both into a warm embrace. How was your first day, my little loves? Any troubles? She asked, breathing in their sweet, sun-warmed scent. Sherry clung to her hand. I had my big brother with me, so I had fun wherever we went. Mommy, how was your first day at work? Carly hadn't run into much trouble at the hospital, but the thought of that person still left her uneasy. She prayed her children would never cross paths with that rascal. As she led them down the path, their small hands tucked in hers, she smiled at their innocent questions. Well, I'm a superstar there. Loved by all. I can handle anything that comes my way, so you 2 can rest easy. She made a mental note to keep the harsher realities far from their ears. But Shane had other ideas. Don't be too trusting, Mom, he said, matter of fact. The working world isn't that simple. When you're out and about, don't trust people too easily, or they'll think you're an easy target. Carly blinked, thrown off. How could a 5-year-old talk like that? Who is really the adult here? Okay, I'll keep that in mind, she murmured, squeezing their hands as they headed home. Once there, she cooked 2 dishes, anything to distract Shane from his lecturing and keep the mood light. Inside the Hardwick family, Aaron laid everything on the table, Carly's file neat and complete. Lance frowned as he read. Carly was the Chambers family's illegitimate daughter kicked out 6 years ago. Since then, she'd been studying medicine abroad. She'd returned because of a medical accident, and fortunately for her, Peace Point Hospital needed a neurosurgeon. After confirming her qualifications, they offered her a high-paying position. Is that all? Lance asked, voice flat. Aaron hesitated. These are all the details we've gathered so far, Mr. Hardwick. Do you want us to investigate further? Why this woman so seemingly insignificant? Aaron couldn't make sense of it. Still, with Peace Point Hospital, a subsidiary of the Hardwick Group, getting answers was easy. "Notify the hospital there will be a shareholders meeting tomorrow," Lance said. "Yes, sir." Years at Lance's side had taught Aaron to recognize the signs. Something was coming. Early the next morning, Carly dropped the twins off at kindergarten and took a cab to the hospital. "Come on, you've got this." She filled herself with quiet resolve. Today's clinic had to go smoothly. No mistakes. With a little time before her shift, she slipped into her office to review medical records, jotting key points into her notebook. Then, shouting, a sudden uproar in the hallway. Carly sighed, a pinch of frustration rising. In recent years, doctor-patient relationships felt more strained with every case. Too often, patients treated doctors like enemies, and it left her feeling helpless. "I'll kill all you heartless doctors and make you pay for my family's deaths," a man roared, voice ricocheting off the walls. He had a weapon in his hand. People kept their distance, speaking from afar, hands raised, trying to calm him down. Carly's heartbeat spiked as security rushed in. Then a figure surged forward. A clean, brutal kick, one heartbeat too, and the man crashed to the floor. In another breath, the attacker was pinned, his weapon arm twisted under control. Crack! The sound snapped through the corridor. The man howled, writhing. Carly lifted her gaze and met the eyes of the one who had subdued him. Cold, fierce, oppressive, and dangerously compelling. A falcon in the dark. No one would dare hold that gaze for long. "Quickly, take care of this man," Lance commanded, voice like ice. He straightened his disheveled suit and walked out as if he'd merely brushed lint from his lapel. "Yes," the security guards answered in unison. Only then did Carly grasp what had just happened. The well-trained guards restrained the attacker, and in moments the corridor was calm, like nothing had happened at all. Lance turned his head and looked at her. He made a small gesture to Aaron. Aaron's nod said he understood. Familiar. Why does he feel familiar? And who is he to have everyone obey him, even here? "Dr. Chambers," Mr. Jeffers hurried over, slightly out of breath. "The chairman would like to see you. Don't be nervous. It's routine. Every new doctor meets the chairman for a quick word about work." Routine. Then why the uneasy look in his eyes? "Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. I'll be right back," Carly said, though a flicker of doubt tugged at her. She followed the nurse down the hall to the chairman's office. Mr. Jeffers watched her go, regret shadowing his face. Under his breath, he murmured, "Whether you come back or not is anyone's guess." At the door, the nurse excused herself to other tasks. Carly knocked, nerves tightening in her chest. The door opened, and she froze. Lance sat inside, watching her with a complicated expression. Silence fell, heavy and awkward. "This is Mr. Hardwick," Aaron said quickly, "the inheritor of Peace Point Hospital and our largest shareholder." So that was it. No wonder the air bent around him. Carly forced a polite smile. "Mr. Hardwick, it's an honor to work at Peace Point Hospital. I'll devote myself to every patient and uphold the hospital's reputation." With leaders, you said what sounded good. It was how the world worked. "May I know the reason for my summons, Mr. Hardwick?" she asked, a hint of nerve slipping through. Based on the hospital's assessment of you, Lance said, cold as glass, you are not qualified to stay here. Carly's eyes flew wide. She stared at him, stunned. What? This is our first real meeting. How can he decide that already? Carly felt indignation surge hot and sharp in her chest. She was a competent doctor. Peace Point Hospital wouldn't have hired her from abroad if she couldn't do the job. Chairman or not, she decided to defend herself. Mr. Hardwick, what do you mean by that? Yesterday I personally completed an operation, and even my superior believes I have talent. Why do you think that I am? She'd been about to say, not qualified, then met his cool, scrutinizing gaze, and the words died in her throat. At Peace Point Hospital, patients are treated by doctors with at least 6 years of clinical experience, he said. True, she was younger, with less clinical exposure than most. Mr. Hardwick, that's too arbitrary, Carly said, steadying her voice. There are plenty of young doctors who are just as good. If I can stand here, it's because I have the ability to. I can start consulting today. You'll see for yourself. You won't have the chance. He was making things difficult on purpose. He was her superior and her job security sat in his hands. She swallowed, forcing herself to play it submissive. Please, Mr. Hardwick, give me a chance. I promise you won't be disappointed. He said nothing. The silence stretched, cold, deliberate, and it made her nerves prickle. At least give me a straight answer, something. With him, silence was the sharpest deterrent. Another contract appeared on Lance's desk. He signed without hesitation and handed it to Aaron. As a prominent figure in Gludal City, he thought, how could he be treated like a thug? This woman needed to be taught a lesson. Aaron scanned the pages, then spoke evenly. Dr. Chambers, Mr. Hardwick isn't being unreasonable. You have a second option, a probationary period to prove yourself. What does that mean? A bad feeling slid down Carly's spine. Starting today, you're assigned to the cleaning department. No other incentives. Aaron's tone stayed cold as he read. Carly kept her expression composed, even as the demotion stung. She took the contract, eyes catching on the elegant signature at the bottom, clean strokes controlled. For some ridiculous reason, she found it pleasing to the eye. Steady, Carly. She added a single line in her neat hand, then passed it back to Aaron. He glanced at the addition and couldn't help a soft chuckle. Lance lifted a brow. Aaron handed it over with a knowing smile. $300 per day, extra allowance. This woman missed no opportunity to make more money. If she loves money so much, then why did she send that Rolex to the police? He wondered, trying to lure in a bigger catch by playing the saint. All right, Carly said quietly. Since you've agreed, I'll get back to work now. I wish you good health and success. She offered a bright, polite smile. She wasn't a fool. He had a grudge against her. Pushing back would only make him more determined to fire her. For now, she'd keep her true self hidden and wait. Now only two remained in the office. Aaron felt the shift, that low thrum of danger. Mr. Hardwick's anger hadn't fully cooled. Mr. Hardwick, will the shareholders' meeting be held as usual? Leave it to the dean, Lance said, standing. No further explanation. He walked out. Aaron didn't blink. He moved to rearrange the meeting at once. Carly returned to her office, slipped off her lab coat, and gave Mr. Jeffers a brief explanation. Then she headed to the cleaning department. As soon as the dozen or so cleaners saw her, alarm flashed across their faces, like they thought their livelihoods were under threat. One woman blurted, "Aren't you a doctor? Why are you coming to our department?" Carly caught their stares and found herself at a loss. She smoothed on a sweet smile instead. "Honey, not vinegar. People liked gentle." "Hi, everyone. I'm not here to take your jobs. The chairman arranged this so I can understand the hospital better since I'm new here," she said, voice warm and even. Her sweetness softened them. Smiles tugged at faces, even among the older ones. She knew how important it was to build good relationships. She didn't intend to be isolated. While she spoke, a woman in the corner drew her eye, young, with an air that set her apart. The woman's gaze held a hint of arrogance as it slid over Carly. Carly smiled. "You must be Rihanna, right? Your temperament is lovely, but it looks like you haven't been sleeping well. Your appetite's off too, is that right?" Rihanna nodded. "Yes, and I've been having headaches." "This will help strengthen your body," Carly said. "It'll clear up those symptoms, and you'll feel and look better." She pulled a small notebook from her pocket, wrote a prescription, and pressed it into Rihanna's hand. If she was a special hire from overseas, then she had to show her skill, earn her place with action. The nearby cleaners crowded closer at once, eager for a quick checkup. Carly took her time with each of them, asking questions, checking pulses, making notes, learning names, faces, patterns. From a distance, Lance happened to witness the scene, the way they lit up around her, how easily she won them over. It was all adoration out here, far from the trials of the clinic. When the day finally wound down, Carly packed her things and headed toward the bus stop. A tall figure shot out from a shadowed corner. She stumbled straight into his arms. Instead of apologizing, he sneered. "Do you like throwing yourself at men?" Heat flared in her cheeks. Outrage slammed through her. She yanked back to steady herself, raised her hand, and slapped. He caught her wrist midair. He wore a black mask and a cap, leaving only a pair of fierce eyes visible. "So it's you, the thug," she snapped. "How dare you come to the hospital to find me?" Lance released her hand, his voice ice cold. "I came to make you pay back what you owe. Do you have any idea how much that watch you took is worth? Because of you, I have to start all over again." Carly stared, furious. Shameless bastard. Not only did he refuse to appreciate her help, he came to demand money. "I shouldn't have helped you then," she said, each word clipped. "I should have let you sit in jail for a few years. At least I'd be at peace." Carly couldn't believe her bad luck. All she wanted was a simple, peaceful life with her children, but this morning she dealt with a strange-tempered boss who insisted she become the cleaner. And now this brainless thug in the afternoon. It felt like a streak of terrible luck. Why'd she have to run into both of them on the same day? If it wasn't for the fact that this thug was the children's biological father, she would have called the police and sent him to prison. That would have saved her a lot of trouble. Carly got angrier the more she thought about it. She marched up to him and grabbed his collar, fury burning through her fingers. Did he really think she was some kind of pushover? Despite her angry glare, her lack of height didn't make her a threat to Lance at all. Her petite frame, big round eyes, and small face only made her look cuter when she was angry. With one glance, Lance took in the curve of her figure beneath her loose clothing. That crazy, heated night 6 years ago, when they couldn't keep their hands off each other, flashed across his mind. He pulled low and fast. Now, facing Carly again, he couldn't help a suggestive grin. With all that fire, do you need me to help you extinguish it tonight? What do you mean? Simple. I can help you relive that night, and I promise you'll feel much better afterward. Why else would I bother coming to find you? Carly was seething. This guy had no limits. How could he say such filthy things? God. She had never been in such a humiliating situation. As a doctor, she knew the body's vulnerable spots. And she knew she was at a disadvantage. No way she could beat him in a straight fight. Or could she? She feinted a punch, then, lightning quick, drove a sharp kick into his knee. Lance folded with a grunt, pain flaring, and Carly felt a jolt of triumph. "Who's laughing now?" she said, chin high. If Lance hadn't been so cocky, he might have seen it coming. In the corner, Aaron broke out in a cold sweat. What on earth was wrong with Mr. Hardwick? After giving Carly a hard time at the hospital, he had to come stir up more trouble for her after work. Back in the office a moment ago, when Mr. Hardwick changed into a leather jacket, leather pants, and black sunglasses, he'd even asked Aaron, "Do I look like a street thug?" Who would dare speak ill of Boss Hardwick to his face? So Aaron tried to praise him with the most sincere tone he could muster. "Mr. Hardwick, you're the most handsome man. No matter what you wear, you're the most distinguished person in the world." Instead of being pleased, Mr. Hardwick erupted, gave him a kick for good measure. Aaron swallowed his complaints and muttered meekly, "Mr. Hardwick, maybe tone it down a little. Then you'll look more like a street thug." Being Boss Hardwick's assistant was difficult, especially when Boss Hardwick was in a bad mood. Towering over her again, Mr. Hardwick, Lance, snapped at Carly, "You have no sense of fair play. You ambushed me." So what? Even rabbits bite when they're cornered. Don't you dare bully me, you jerk. Okay, let's be frank. Of course it was you. Carly shot back. "I'm warning you. Say anything lewd again and I'll poison your mouth till you can't speak. Since you're so good at keeping score, let's settle all accounts now. Do you even know what you've done to my life?" She was full of fury and wasn't about to let him off easy. She pulled out a small notebook and a pen. "Be honest. How much do you have in your bank account?" Lance said bluntly, "I have no idea." With so many assets under his name, still growing by the day, how could he possibly keep track? Carly sneered. "Looks like you're a pauper. Starting tomorrow, I'll find you a job, and you'd better split the earnings with me 50-50. She couldn't let this bastard off easy. The hospital had an eccentric owner, and she was at risk of losing her job. But with 2 children to support, the deadbeat dad needed to pay up and contribute. "What have I done?" "Make it clear," Lance retorted. Carly hesitated. Thank God she stopped herself from spilling about the kids. "You ruined my reputation, and my father disowned me. Do you even know I was once the daughter of the famous Chambers family? After that night, I fell ill and racked up a debt I still can't pay off. All thanks to you." "Is that so?" Lance asked, voice flat. "Don't even think about lazing around. You'll pay your share of this debt," Carly demanded. "Monthly, from your salary. And don't even think about cheating me." "What if I don't pay you back?" Lance taunted. Carly smiled thinly. "Then I suggest you keep your organs healthy and valuable. They'll sell for quite a lot. Bold words, but she had no idea that no one in this country dared lay a finger on Lance. What a fearless, calculating girl, determined to squeeze every penny she could. Still, she was mostly bark, not bite. The street thug? The opposite. And to her surprise, he agreed without a fight. Okay, what kind of job do you have in mind? Lance asked. Carly blinked, briefly at a loss. She circled him, even patted his muscles, her face growing smug. Her eyes held no warmth, only the cool assessment of someone eyeing livestock. Lance scowled. You having fun? You done? Who says I'm having fun? I'm thinking about a job that suits you. With all those muscles, why not be a mover? There's a construction site hiring. I'll ask around. Daily pay is perfect for someone as lazy as you. She was serious about getting him a job. He'd arranged for her to work in the cleaning department that morning, and now she had him working as a mover. Strangely compatible thinking. Carly glanced at the time. It was time to pick up the kids. She thrust the notebook into his hands. Write your phone number, name, and bank account. Don't accuse me of cheating you later. Do you really want the money? Of course. If I don't receive it by tomorrow, I'll report you to the police immediately. He jotted down the details and handed the notebook back. She skimmed the page. His handwriting was neat. Leith Studwick, remember it well. You're the debtor, I'm the creditor. This ends when you pay me off. Leith Studwick was one of Lance's assistants. The name rang a bell from a profile. He nodded, unbothered. Remember to work hard and make money to repay the debt. Carly's anger faded. She waved him off without another word and turned away. After she boarded the bus, Aaron finally edged out from the corner, baffled. He really couldn't figure out what Mr. Hardwick was trying to pull here. Lance could have any woman he wanted, but he'd gone to great lengths to pursue Carly. Whether he truly liked her or she was just another plaything, no one could tell. Mr. Hardwick, you have a meeting with Miss Horton at 9 tonight. We should prepare to leave, Aaron said. Lance pulled off his hat and mask, and with them, the easygoing facade. His whole demeanor hardened. Tell my father to mind his own business and retire in peace, he replied, voice cold. He turned and walked away. Aaron knew better than to press the matchmaking. He shut his mouth at once. Took her 2 children to the local market. In high spirits, she asked, What do my 2 little munchkins feel like eating today? Place your orders, I'll cook them up. Shane's gaze slid to a display of king crabs at a seafood stall, and Carly's heart sank. Looked like they'd be splurging again today. Lobster and the like were out of reach for a household like theirs. Sensing her unease, Shane turned back with a smile. I feel like having fish and chips. And I want steak, Sherry added. Carly let out a breath of relief. No problem at all. I'll get the ingredients now. And when I strike it big one day, I'll treat you both to a fancy meal. Shane nodded and didn't look back at the seafood stall, unwilling to burden her. Back home, Carly made juice and a few appetizers for the kids. Eat up, you two. Grow tall and strong. When I grow up, I'll protect you and Sherry, Shane said, solemn and sure. Carly's tired bones warmed at his words. No matter how hard the day, these 2 were her light. Good boy, Shane. Don't you dare break that promise. We're counting on you. Sherry, a little foodie, didn't speak while she ate, eyes fixed on the plates. After dinner, the children took their bath and waited for story time. Carly tucked them in, then returned to her room to pore over her medical books. Despite the chairman of Peace Point Hospital trying to push her down, she refused to give up. She needed a plan, something to secure her future instead of waiting to be edged out. She caught herself wondering whether the children's father would keep his promise to pay child support. He was a thug after all. She wouldn't hold her breath. How could she rely on someone who couldn't even look after himself? Early the next morning, Carly dropped the children at school and hurried to the hospital. The cleaner's shift started earlier than the doctor's, and she needed to clock in on time. Fortunately, she'd made friends among the cleaning staff. They were willing to help cover her for 2 hours when needed. She rushed to the changing room and pulled on her uniform. Baggy, scratchy, and nothing like what she was used to. This was all Lance's fault, making everything so difficult. Men are so unpredictable, she muttered. Distracted, she collided with someone. I'm sorry. She looked up, froze, and quickly tried to turn away as if she hadn't seen them. What bad luck. Of all people, someone from the Chambers family. A hand caught her arm. A smug voice sneered. Well, if it isn't Carly. Weren't you supposed to be studying abroad? Why are you working as a cleaner now? Hitting rock bottom, are we? Look at you, shabby as ever. Can't even take care of yourself, can you? Got yourself knocked up after fooling around, didn't you? Where's the kid now? Did you secretly get rid of it already? Your mother likes to seduce men, and you're following in her footsteps. Why are you and your mother such slutty people? Carly felt no fear, but she kept quiet. She refused to tangle with the Chambers family. She'd seen through that heartless household long ago. Christy, that's enough. A voice cut in from behind, firm, familiar. Carly knew that voice. She turned to see a refined man, a true gentleman to the eye. Caden Harlan, her heartthrob from years ago. The Harlan and Chambers families had been old friends, their children attending the same prestigious school. Carly had once quietly admired the bright, handsome school idol, Caden. Now he was walking toward her, disbelief etched across his face. Carly, I never thought I'd see you again in this lifetime. But what are you doing here? Concern warmed his gaze as it settled on her. Her anger and frustration thinned at once. She bit her lip hard, refusing to cry in front of them. She would not show her weakness. Christy stepped forward and looped her arm through Caden's, all sweetness and pride. You came back just in time for good news. In a few days, Caden and I will be getting married. I'll send you an invitation. Don't forget to come and bless us. Oh, and I came to the hospital today for a prenatal checkup. I'm already carrying Caden's baby. Warning flickered in her eyes as she spoke. The Chambers and Harlan families had planned to arrange their marriage. Carly knew someone with her awkward status would never marry into the Harlan family. He had been a passing fantasy, nothing more. Just one of many dreams. Enough for now, Caden said, frowning. Carly doesn't look well. Christy stroked her flat belly and cooed. Why are you always so mean to me? What if you scare the baby? They flirted as if no one else existed. Heat rose to Carly's face. God, if only she could find a hole to crawl into. Before the sting could settle, a familiar voice snapped behind her. What are you doing there? Get back to your workstation. Lance's presence hit the room like a blast of cold air. The atmosphere froze. He cast a single chilled glance at the arrogant Christy, who shrank back, cowering behind Caden. She'd never faced a man with a presence that powerful. After years in the cutthroat business world, Lance had sharpened himself to a keen edge. One look at Christy, and he pegged her, a bully who only picked on the weak. Carly couldn't stand him, but she couldn't deny he'd just stepped in for her. "I'll get back to work," she said quickly. Caden started toward Carly, but Christy slid in front of him, voice low. "Caden, you're my fiancé. Think about me and our baby." That single reminder stopped him cold. He clocked the imposing figure ahead and offered a polished smile. "Mr. Hardwick, we've met before at the auction. I'm Caden Harlan, chairman of Harlan Group." The Harlan family was well known in Gludall City. Their ancestors had founded schools, and that legacy had grown into prestigious campuses across the country. As a fellow high-profile figure, Caden expected Lance to return the courtesy. Lance's expression stayed blank. "Oh, I don't remember." Christy's jaw tightened. With anyone else, she would have thrown out a cutting remark. Instead, she swallowed her temper. This was Lance Hardwick. Caden kept the smile, smooth as ever. "Seems I didn't leave much of an impression, Mr. Hardwick. Our company will launch a new project in a few days. Would you be interested?" "No." Even speaking to Caden was more generosity than Lance felt he owed. He'd noticed Carly's submissive posture earlier and, out of nothing but cool curiosity, wondered what kind of man she liked. He glanced her way. Caden felt the temperature drop. He forced an easy tone. "In that case, we won't take up any more of your time. Christy has a checkup anyway." "Wait," Lance said. Caden turned back, thinking Lance had changed his mind, only to be hit with the cold edge of reality. "We don't welcome you here at Peace Point Hospital. Don't let me catch you coming here again." The words landed like a slap, hard and public. Christy prided herself on status. She insisted on top-tier antenatal care at a prestigious hospital. She even had a former classmate here as a gynecologist, useful for keeping certain matters quiet. And yet the chairman of Peace Point Hospital had just barred them outright. "This is a hospital," Caden said, keeping his tone level. "We're here for a checkup. We're not causing trouble. Could you at least give us a reason?" He didn't have ties with the Hardwicks, true, but he'd done nothing to offend them. None that he knew of. So why the hostility? Lance snorted. "Because I feel like it. If the Harlan family isn't short on cash, build your own damn hospital." He flicked a hand at Aaron, a clear order to see them out. Christy flinched, unwilling to challenge him head-on. "Caden, let's just go to another hospital for the checkup." "There's no need to argue," she murmured, clutching her belly for effect. Caden still didn't know what had triggered Lance's ire. They'd exchanged little more than nods before today. But Christy tugged at his sleeve, feigning discomfort, and urged him toward the exit. After they left, Lance said, "Make sure those two never set foot in this hospital again." Aaron blinked, trying to read his boss. Was Mr. Hardwick protecting Carly? But he'd been so hard on her earlier. Still, the band felt like payback on her behalf. Tough on the outside, soft underneath. That was Lance Hardwick, Aaron decided. Carly pushed them up across the tiles, jaw tight. Perverted Mr. Hardwick. If he hadn't made things so difficult, she could have been a respectable doctor by now. God knew how Christy would twist this later to make her look bad. Christy was pregnant and getting married in a few days, and the groom was... Carly bit her lip, scolding herself for letting her mind wander. You're slacking off again, aren't you? The man's voice snapped her back. She pasted on a smile and turned to face Mr. Hardwick. What a coincidence, Mr. Hardwick, checking up on me. Until she found a better job, she had to survive this one. Smile, nod, be nice to Lance. I must say I'm flattered by your concern. May I ask what has brought you here? I'm wondering if you're ready to quit already, what with all the goofing off you've been doing, Mr. Hardwick said, cool as ice. No. Why did he keep targeting her? Why did she run into him everywhere? She was just a lowly employee trying to keep her head down. What had she done to deserve this? No, of course not, she said quickly. I was just daydreaming about how nice it would be if the hospital were cleaner and more comfortable for the patients. Wow, I'm surprised. You're quite the thinker. But ideas are nothing without action. How about you clean the entire hospital by yourself? If you're not up for it, you can skip coming in tomorrow. Carly's jaw dropped. What? She could hardly believe her ears. This jerk was abusing his power, hitting back at her for nothing. What grudge did this man have that made him keep picking on her? If it weren't for her empty bank account and the fact that her kids had just settled into kindergarten, she'd have tossed them up in his face. God knew her temper could blow. Lance watched her, dissatisfaction simmering. How could this woman still have time to obsess over other men? Time to teach her a lesson. If you don't want to work, then resign. No explanation, just that arrogant, bored tone. Carly forced herself to breathe. Calm down. He's a lunatic. Don't engage. Don't give him what he wants. These are trials, she told herself, tests from God. Hold the line. Still, a wicked little thought flashed through her. Give this bastard a full medical workup, a few well-placed needles, and keep him bedridden so he couldn't hurt anyone else. She put on a brave face. Of course, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep my job, even if that means cleaning the entire hospital. As long as the salary is paid on time, you can continue to make my life miserable tomorrow. With a complete psycho breathing down her neck, she couldn't afford to hesitate. She grabbed the mop and bucket, gloves squeaking as she tugged them on, and went to work, fast. Meanwhile, she swore silently that he would pay for this. Lance shot her a cold glance. You'd better not curse me in your heart. If I catch you doing that, you'll lose your job. Carly froze. Could he read minds? How else did he see right through her? Mr. Hardwick, you must be mistaken, she said, voice trembling. I respect you greatly. I'll go back to work now. There's so much to do. Okay. As she hurried off, his lips curled into a thin sneer. Watching her squirm invigorated him. Carly ducked into a corner and exhaled, finally out of his line of sight. Being watched every second, it was driving her insane. She thought he was bluffing, but when she returned to the floor, she learned all the cleaners had taken leave, which meant she had to clean the entire hospital alone. Was Lance even human? What kind of deep-seated hatred made a chairman of a big company target a mere employee like her? Carly cheered herself on, determined not to give up, determined to fight him to the end. She clenched her fists and got to work, not pausing for breath until noon. She didn't even touch the 2 slices of bread she'd brought for lunch. She was so tired she'd lost her appetite. When she was nearly nodding off from exhaustion, a security guard appeared. "Carly, why are you slacking off? The chairman wants you to clean up those storage rooms in the backyard. They need to be ready this afternoon." Carly's legs went weak. She forced herself upright, reluctance plain on her face. "I've never even heard of any storage rooms. And it'll take me ages to clean them by myself. Can't we wait until everyone's here tomorrow and do it together?" The guard didn't budge. "It's a direct order from the chairman. You have to obey it. Don't worry, I'll bring 2 other guys to help you out." Oh, great. She could really use the help. She managed a grateful nod. Someone was finally willing to help her. The guard turned away, made 2 quick calls, then let her off. With Carly in tow, they headed toward the hospital's backyard. Peace Point Hospital was sprawling. The backyard stretched like a small park, with a dormitory building set aside for the medical staff. They cut through a few narrow alleys. Carly noticed they were drifting farther from the main building. No one else was around. The quiet made her skin prickle. Uneasy, she called to the man in front. "Where are we going?" The leading guard glanced back, nervous, evasive. "Why did you stop?" "This path is getting more and more remote," Carly said, voice cool. "And I remember a 'do not enter' sign on the way. There's no storage room out here, is there?" At first, she trusted them. They were hospital security. They should know the way better than she did. But her gut twisted. Something was wrong. She turned, ready to bolt. The leading guard flicked his hand. The 2 men flanking her moved in, shoulders closing, hemming her in. Too late. This was a trap. Carly swallowed the spike of panic and adjusted her tone, feigning calm. "I was just asking, how much longer until we get there? I have a lot of work to do." The guard relaxed, hearing no fight in her voice. "Just a few more turns. Don't worry, we'll help you. Just follow us." She nodded quickly and fell in step, eyes lowered, pretending to trust them completely. All the while, she scanned the path, counting turns, noting exits, waiting for any opening to run. As they neared a small warehouse, Carly's hand shot out. She grabbed an iron rod from a pile by the door, cold, heavy, and bolted in the opposite direction with everything she had. The 3 men were caught off guard. "Don't run!" one of them shouted, panic cracking his voice. They hadn't expected her to be this quick, this bold, to sprint right out from under their noses. Carly tore down the lane, heart hammering. Why would Lance stoop to this despicable tactic against her? No time to think. Just run. But despite her best effort, she couldn't outrun 3 men on open ground. Before long, they cornered her, brick wall at her back, no escape. The leading guard, gasping, barked, "Why are you running?" Terrified, Carly tightened her grip on the iron rod and lifted her chin, glare cold as ice. "Stop pretending. You weren't taking me to any storage room. You were leading me to a demolition site. Why did you take me there? What are you planning to do?" She knew it now, bone deep. These men were up to no good,